Hey everybody, welcome to another chapter of the Book of Sean. Thank you for tuning in. It's good to see you. I'm always excited when we get together and have these great conversations. Tonight, I'm talking to a wonderful actress, Cherie Johnson, about why she's imposed a kind of self-imposed dating hiatus, for the time being, at least for the last 8 years. I hear she's changed it though. During the pandemic, Cherie decided, you know what? It's time to be it's time to come out of hiding. I'm interested in her journey for this reason, because all of us at some point of our lives have wished that we could just run away, just stop dealing with people. Because people will drive you to drinking. People will drive you crazy, especially when you're trying to give your heart to people and they keep taking the best of you and turning it into the worst of them. I know she's got a journey. I know she's got a story. And I'm excited tonight because I'm hoping I can encourage her to continue on the new road that she's on. Because I think, as I think for all black women, as I think for all people, she deserves love. Unequivocal, unadulterated, unmitigated, uncomplicated, as much as love can be uncomplicated love. I want her to have it. I want her to drown in it. Buckets of it. Rivers and oceans of it. That's what I want for everybody. That's what I want from me, what I want from you. So I'm hoping tonight to have this great conversation with her. You need to hear her story. You need to hear her journey. Because I promise you, you're going to hear some of yourself in her. And I promise you, what I'm going to say to her is also what I'd like to say to you. Okay? We're going to do some Ask Dr. Sean. We've got a great show for you, all right? Great show. Season 3, people. Great show. And let's do some headlines. So, members of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, representing roughly 60,000 film and television workers, have voted to authorize a strike that could shut Hollywood productions down indefinitely. The union had been in negotiations with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, and they've been making a case for higher pay and improvements on set conditions, and the larger contribution that they were hoping that studios will make to health care and pension benefits. Matthew Loeb, the union president of the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, said, "Our people have basic human needs." Check this out. Slow down, check this out. Like meal breaks, adequate sleep, and a weekend. That's why I wanted to talk about this headline. Do we still live in a country where people have to literally go on strike to get adequate sleep, meal breaks, and a weekend? Is this still going on in America? Apparently it is, because we have a whole union of people who support things like I'm doing, television and movies, who have to go on strike to get their employers to understand that they should get adequate sleep, meals, and weekends. I thought the pandemic had taught companies by now that if you don't treat your workers like they are human beings, their productivity will go into the toilet. And an unproductive worker produces an unproductive company, and your company will go down the drain. I thought the pandemic would have taught corporations by now that as your employees go, so goes your company. That the company can actually live without the CEO, but it can't live without the people that make up the basic bulk of the work. I thought companies understood this by now, but these big companies have yet to understand that if you don't treat workers like human beings and not workers, you won't have much of a company left. And that's what's wrong with American capitalism. I'm a capitalist. I'm not going to lie. I like money. I have no problem with it. But I'm an egalitarian capitalist in this sense. I do not believe that the people who work with me or for me are mere workers, some depersonalized cog in the great wheel of my profit making. They're human beings. They have needs and desires and hopes and aspirations and families. And yes, they should have food and sleep and a weekend. I'm thinking about cussing, but I'm trying not to. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But I like this story because it shows ultimately what all of us have to do. At some point, you have to stand up for yourself. At some point, you have to say, enough is enough, and I'm not going to let you treat me any kind of way. because nobody's going to advocate for you better than you can. And what I love about this story is that it shows me that when you start fighting for yourself, people see you fighting for yourself, and they're more likely to fight for you as well. So to everybody out there, be your own advocate. If you're not getting what you need from the people you need to get it from, don't just sit there and take it. Them days is over. You hear what I'm saying under you? See, I said that like I'm in church. See what I'm saying under you? Them days is over. You need to let people know, yes, I need sleep, I need a meal break, and I need my weekend. Let's go to the next headline. So check this one out. So Princess Mako of Japan is set to forego over a $1 million payment that she gets, whatever she gets it, to give up her royal status to wed her college classmate. Under Japanese law, the marriage between a royal and a commoner requires that the Princess Mako, give up her royal status, which means that she has to give up apparently $1.35 million. Let me ask you a question. Would you give up $1 million to marry somebody? Just let that marinate in your spirit. You know, my sound engineer is laughing over here because I already know what his answer is. I mean, would you give up $1 million to marry somebody? Let me ask you, would you give up royal status for love? Which would you rather be? Say with me. Which would you rather be? Would you rather be rich or in a relationship? I'm just asking questions, people. This is what I do. Would you rather be rich and single or in a relationship and broke? Which would you like to be? Okay? Here are your choices. Poverty or love? Which one you gonna choose? And let's be honest, before y'all get all sentimental on me, before you get all sentimental, turn all Octavia Butler on me, let's just be honest, poverty sucks. Poverty is the worst. Homelessness is terrible. I've been there. It's awful. And just to be clear, love is complicated. I mean, how would you feel? Can you imagine giving up $1.3 million to marry somebody only to discover that you don't even like them? I mean, can you imagine giving up your royal status to be with somebody and then you end up falling out of love and you can't get the status back? Woo! Ooh, Jesus. I'm having heart palpitations just thinking about that. It's driving me crazy. You know, a yes and a no decision, a yes or no decision, they can be complicated, but they're never as complicated as a yes and yes decision. You see, yes and no decisions, they're never easy, right? You know, should I kill you or should I not kill you? Yes or no, right? I mean, come on. But a yes and yes decision is hard because you're not choosing between something you like and something you don't like, something you would do and something you would not do. You're choosing between something you like and something you like more. How do you choose between something great and something greater? And what most of us never do is we never consider the possibility that eventually all of us are going to be in the same situation that the princess is in, where you're going to have to choose between what you love and what you love more. And if you think life's only going to give you yes or no decisions, where it's black or white, left or right, no, that's when you operate down here. When you get up in the big leagues with Oprah, Beyonce, Obama, you know what I'm saying, and you start playing in the big leagues, it's not yes or no, it's yes or yes. And you need to prepare for your yes and yes moment. That's why you got to be honest about what you value. You got to be honest about what you really care about. You follow me? Because if you're really about the money, then don't choose love. If that's not what you're really about. If you're really about love, then you better not choose the money. Because if you're not authentically choosing, your choice is going to consume you before it's over. And there are too many people choosing against a standard that doesn't actually apply to them. They're choosing based upon what the group thinks they should choose. The hell with the group. Choose based upon what you value and what you believe. And let your decisions, let the consequences come as they may. Now, if you're asking me, Dr. Sean, which one you would choose, depends on who I'm marrying. Let's go to the next headline. So sports anchor Sage Steele is off the air at ESPN after she called vaccine mandates sick and scary and then questioned why former President Barack Obama identifies as black even though he was raised by his white mother. This isn't the first time Miss Steele has said some offensive and crazy stuff. During both the Colin Kaepernick and the George Floyd moments, she said things that rubbed people the wrong way. But apparently, according to ESPN, she has crossed the line. Sage believes that mandates for vaccines are sick and scary. So Sage, if you're watching, this show's probably too black for you, so you're probably not watching this. Mandates are not sick and scary, my dear sister, because you already live with them. You already live with mandates that you don't think are sick and scary. Seat belts, car insurance, driver's license. You cannot travel internationally without getting or having a passport. Those are all mandates that you live with all the time that you don't think are sick and scary. But you know what I think? I think Sage really has an identity problem that she's wrestling with. And I've found out that when people grow up around white people, when black people grow up around white people, we turn out one of two ways. Either we're super black or we're super white. But black people who grow up around black people, we don't have nothing to prove to black people or white people. We just kind of do what we do. And I'm not knocking that experience. I'm just saying this sounds like a real identity situation. And I'll tell you why. If you support Donald Trump like Sage does and Larry Elder like Sage does, you don't get to question Barack Obama's blackness. No, you don't. You don't get to question his blackness if you support someone who would willingly call you an N-word. I almost said the real word, but I don't want to get put off TV. Let me ask you a question. When did being a direct descendant from Africa make you no longer black? I just want to understand that part, Sage. Maybe you could help me, sister. So when did having a Kenyan father and a Kansan-born mother make you not black? I'm trying to figure that out. So let me ask you this. Are you more black if you come from Atlanta than if you come from Ethiopia? I'm confused. Help me, Sage. Which one is it? Are you more black if you come from Brooklyn than if you come from, I don't know, Accra, Ghana? How does that even work out since the black people that come from Brooklyn actually originally come from Ghana? Somebody help me. It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. And just for the record, before I change gears, Sage, let me remind you of something, sister. You don't come from Colorado or Panama, where I think you were born, or none of the places you've lived over the course of your life. You come from Africa. Your father was an African American. Your mother was a European sister. Half of you comes from Africa. Half of Obama comes from Africa. Some of all of us who are descendants of Africans come from Africa. In fact, can I just say it the way I really want to say it? Every damn human being on the planet comes from Africa. We are the mothers and fathers of everybody who walks this planet. So invariably, all you people come from us. That's not supremacy either, it's just truth. Let me change gears before I get put off the air. Here's my last one before I bring out Cherie. So there was a man in Facebook, there's an image posted in Facebook by the Winter Haven Police Department showing a man on camera walking through a Walmart with two young children. He didn't have the money at checkout to pay for what he was trying to get, which was diapers, and he walked out of the store with the diapers, and they put out his photo to sort of get him, to embarrass him and to shame him. And a bunch of people saw the photo and took exception to it, and they decided to help pay for what the man couldn't pay for. And I love this story because it shows us that there's still good people out there. There's still people who understand that people can really be desperate. And just because I'm desperate doesn't make me a criminal, doesn't make me evil. You don't understand that some of the dumbest things you've ever done, you didn't do them because you were bad, you did it because you were desperate. But I'm so glad that there are people out there who understand what desperation is really all about. And if you know what it is, then stop being so quick to judge people. Just like the police, not to step in another man's shoes for a second to understand when you got two kids and no money and you need diapers, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I don't condone stealing. What I don't condone more than that is America having a place where children can't afford to have diapers and food. Let's put that on Facebook. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. More Ask Dr. Sean. More Cherie Johnson. More me, more you, right after this. Welcome back, everybody. So all of us have a love narrative. All of us have a story when it comes to matters of the heart. And don't act like you don't, because we all do. We all have had our twists and turns and the ups and downs. And it really doesn't matter how beautiful. You know what's amazing about people? You can be drop dead fine. I mean beautiful, stacked. You can be a beautiful woman, beautiful guy, and you still have a narrative, right? You still have moments where it just doesn't work out. Beauty is no protection from the complexities of human nature, which makes those of us who are not always considered beautiful feel better. It's like, good, you people have to go through this too. Cherie's here tonight, and she is an accomplished actress. She's a beautiful woman, but she has a story. She has a journey. And don't you ever think that because someone looks a certain way or lives a certain way, that they don't have to deal with it too. So welcome to the show tonight, Cherie Johnson. Hey, Cherie, how you doing, Cherie?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. I love your smile. I love your energy. I saw you shaking your head during my headlines. I like her already.
Oh, yeah, you was getting them, and I was appreciating it.
You are fantastic. Listen, before we get into your love narrative, your love journey, I want to get to know a little bit about how you think and how you feel. So these questions are unrelated to why you're here tonight, all right? Just these initial questions. All right, so tell me this. What do you wish you could do every single day?
Oh, I wish I could eat every single day. I'm so thankful. I'm a huge foodie, right? But I want to eat. I don't necessarily want to cook. So in my dreams, I will have a chef who makes me feast every day, and I will get to eat it.
Oh, listen, you and I could exchange notes, because my goal, I wish I could eat pizza every day and not gain a pound.
We'll work it out. But pizza every day, yeah. Something good, like I like really big, good meals, but it seems like when I cook, I don't eat. I like maybe nibble or taste, but I don't have like a real meal.
Okay, wow. So give me your gratitude list. Give me all the things in your life in this moment that you're just absolutely grateful for.
I am so grateful that my family, my immediate family, has made it through the pandemic without getting sick. None of us are hungry or homeless or needing or wanting anything. I am very grateful that I have a beautiful 7-year-old daughter who is one of the sweetest children I've ever met in my life. And she's very empathetic and considerate of others. I am thankful that the universe gave Soleil and I another chance to come back and do the Punky Brewster reboot. Even though we did not get picked up for a second season, we were able to spend 4 consolidated months together working and reliving a great chapter of our childhood. I'm grateful for a lot.
Yeah, no, I remember Punky Brewster too. I remember that show. Now the people in the studio with me, they're too young. They don't remember, But I remember that. Let me ask you this, because I know a part of why we wanted you to come here tonight and to be on the show tonight is because you have a story to tell, right? And people might look at you and observe you and think, well, she's a beautiful black woman. You are well spoken. You have great presence, great energy. The sky's the limit, right? The world is your oyster. But as I said in my opening, just because you're beautiful, just because you're gifted, doesn't mean love is not complicated. So that's what I want to turn to now. But to do it, I want to ask you this question, because I want to create 2 halves of the same coin. Tell me what you thought relationships were going to be like when you were a kid. When you were a kid, before you actually got some wisdom, what did you think it was going to be like?
I had great examples of relationships. And because of that, I thought it was like all love and fun and games and just like enjoying life with each other. I didn't get to see the complications as a child, but I got to see the family vacations and the great Sunday dinners and the big holidays with all your family around the table. So I thought I would grow up and have the same thing.
So you assumed from what you saw that you had seen all there was to see, yes, and that would be your journey, only to discover what now?
Dr. Sean, relationships. Look, I'm so happy to be here because I'm getting some free therapy, y'all, tonight. And I think so many more of us need to reach out and get therapy when needed. I did not realize that relationships are not peaceful. Relationships are like a whole nother career. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And it's a lot of work. And I don't know if you ever really get to know who another person is. And that scares me.
You've said a lot. You've said a lot. So what scares you about that? Be specific.
Well, okay, I'm going to be real specific, okay, and tell you why I need help and why I'm really here tonight. Growing up on TV is a wonderful, beautiful thing, but it brings an extra layer of hardness when it comes to trying to date. Everybody I dated or might go on to date pretty much watched me on TV and they watched me grow up, so they already feel like they know me, right? And it's a great thing to be familiar, but it's another thing when you always end up dating a groupie. Dr. Sean, help me. I don't want to date no more groupies.
Yeah. Listen, you have stated the matter quite succinctly and poignantly. But you know the funny about when you said that, I thought there are a lot of people, some of them in this room, who wouldn't mind, not me, other people, who wouldn't mind dating groupies. At least they think they want to date a groupie. Tell everybody why dating a groupie, and let's define groupie, right? A groupie is someone who what?
They only date you or want to be around you because the little girl from TV. That's it. There's no substance there. They're more in love with my characters than my character.
And I would add to that, a groupie is, and listen, you may not be on TV, but anybody in your life who's only dating you for the benefits, for the clout, for the attention, right? For the fact that they get to ride a certain way or fly a certain way, is a groupie. And you don't have to be on television to have groupies. You got groupies in your life. Tell everybody real quick, how does it feel emotionally to know that you're coming back home, or that someone who isn't really into you is the person that you're trying to be into?
It's when that realization hits, because of course I don't know at first. If I would know, I would never go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
It hurts. And I feel like, not only did I waste a lot of my energy, but they took my time. And I think that's what hurts the most, is because you never figure it out like date 1 or date 2. It's always like 6, 8 months, or even 3 years later.
Listen, I'm glad you said that, because I'm looking at some folks in the studio right now who think they want groupies, and I'm trying to tell them, you don't want the groupies. So you gave up on dating, if I understand, 8 years ago, right? Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. I had my last bad date and I said no more.
Okay, what happened to sort of make that your conclusion 8 years ago?
Okay, I hate to say this, but I was dating this guy and my friends convinced me that I needed to date outside of my type because I have a type. And they said, that's your problem. You need to date maybe the guy that you wouldn't usually look at, right? So I went on a date with this guy who asked me if I wanted to go to Myrtle Beach. Long story short, the date was horrible. I ended up in handcuffs on the side of a cotton.
Okay, whoa, because now you got me. I'm all yours now. I want to know, I don't care how long this takes. I want to know, how did you end up in handcuffs on the date, Myrtle Beach?
Okay, so we were in North Carolina and we drove to South Carolina. He asked me, had I ever been in Myrtle Beach? I said no. I thought it would be fun to go. While we were driving, I'm looking out the window and I'm like, wow, look at all those beautiful blue flowers. What's that? And he's from North Carolina. So he's like, you ain't ever seen cotton? I'm like, no. Why would I see cotton? I grew up in Malibu. There ain't no cotton in Malibu. I heard my grandmama talk about it. He said, that's a cotton field. So he pulled over like on a turnout and I got in the car and I started taking pictures because literally it was beautiful. It's not what I expected hearing my grandmother's stories about the South. And as we were pulled over, a cop pulled up. He was cute. And me, being me, was like, hey, how you doing? And he was like, go get in the car. Long story short, he wanted us to let him look in the trunk of the car because he said there could be a dead body in there. And when I tried to reason with him and talk to him like a human being, then he said that I had drugs on me. Searching my purse, he found a bag of tea that I had taken from the hotel, and he said it was marijuana. We ended up in handcuffs on the side of the road for about an hour and a half until a nice cop showed up.
Are you serious?
Yes.
So it wasn't that the date you were with was a bad person. You just ran into a bad cop.
Well, we ran into a bad cop, and then after that, the relationship kind of became a little toxic.
Got it, got it, got it. So 8 years ago, you decided, I can't deal with this. No more cotton fields.
Mm-mm. I'm
no,
done.
no more, no more. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, walk me through like how a woman comes to that place, right? Because there are a lot of people watching who I think want to come to the conclusion that you've come to or came to then, because I know you've come out of it. Um, I mean, what happens emotionally that allows you to say, I'm done dating for what, 8 years?
Man, every day just got worse. Like, how was it going to get any worse? I'm embarrassed in front of the world. We ended up on CNN. It was supposed to be the third biggest story, the third biggest Black story after Obama, Michael Jackson's death, and then Cherie Johnson got arrested in the cotton field. Like, come on. Then I'm with this guy who he was nice, but he's not really my type. I let my friends convince me that I needed to give him some time. And so now I'm embarrassed. It's 8 years later, people still like, oh, is that your baby daddy? And I'm like, no, I don't even like know that dude anymore. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I was done. I wanted off the roller coaster.
You mentioned that you have a type. What's your type?
I love big Black men, God-fearing men. I like men who are fun, who have great personalities, and they love to eat because I'm a foodie.
Mm-hmm. So, have you ever been loved? Truly, truly loved?
I can't say that I haven't been loved because I have a lot of beautiful Black men who surround me and that are my really good friends. So I think I've been loved.
Romantically. Have you ever been in a romantic scenario? Have you ever been truly loved?
Not correctly, no. They love the benefits of me, or the fact that they didn't have to wait in line at the club, or that they got free dinners or something like that. But I don't believe ever correctly.
Listen, I got to take this break, Cherie. But you've said a lot, because there are a lot of people watching right now. You feel the same way that Cherie has articulated. There are a lot of people who, if I ask you the question, you might give me the same answer. No, you've never truly been loved in a romantic scenario. When we come back, I got some more questions, and then I got some things I want to say, not just to her, but to you too, because when you've been hurt, you need to know that there's life after the pain. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. You know Cherie Johnson. She's been an actress, and we've all seen her grow up and be a part of our television lives. She's here tonight to talk a little bit about her journey as it relates to matters of the heart, right? Isn't it amazing how you can have your professional thing tied down, and then there's still an area of your life that you're still working on? That's true for everybody. All of us have a part of us that's not completely what we want it to be. So Cherie, I'm stuck at this 8 years ago. I promise I'm gonna get off this. So 8 years ago, you decided to what? To no longer date anybody, no longer date anybody seriously. What did you decide?
8 years ago, I was like, I'm done. What is the point of me dating? I really wanted to have a child, so I called my homie and asked him for some sperm.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it just, you know what? While I was sitting at the hotel when I made it to Myrtle Beach, I started text messaging him. And I was like, you'll never believe what happened to me now. And he started laughing because he's like, these ridiculous dates only happen to you. Like, this is not real life. And I was like, it just keeps getting worse. Just do me a favor. Just get me pregnant, and then I can stop this whole cycle. And it worked.
I did not expect you to say that. Like, I'm going to have to recover. I can't take a break because I just took one. But
Dr. Sean, I went home, right? He told me to come home. I went home. Some things happened. About 4 weeks later, I was showing him a stick that I went to the bathroom with. I was like, thank you, baby.
Oh, well, listen, people. That's one way to do it. Listen. There's one way to do it. That's all I'm going to say.
I have no drama, Dr. Sean. My baby daddy is wonderful. He's been my friend since I was 8 years old. We love each other. We've always been a family. Now we just really a family. You know what I'm saying? But I'm bored. I'm in the house. I've worked on myself a lot. That's what I can say. Honestly, the first 5 years of not dating, my daughter needed me and I needed myself because I had almost forgotten who Cherie was, what makes Cherie happy. And then I started to realize they say the energy that you put out is what you reflect.
I was just about to ask you that. I was just about to ask you to assess whether or not you contributed to attracting the kinds of people who would ultimately frustrate you. What was it about you at that time that was attracting people like that?
I never dated to have a serious relationship or one that would lead to marriage. I dated who was fun. I dated who made me laugh. I dated who wanted to go to these great restaurants even though I was paying. I dated for an experience. I didn't date for longevity.
And that's so rich. And you got exactly what you put out there.
I got everything that I put out there. So I realized I manifested my own destiny.
Yeah.
I always said, well, I don't really believe in the institutionalization of marriage. So that's not what I'm looking for. And I remember one time, Dr. Sean, my girlfriends and I were having a conversation. Jaislyn and Tiffany, we were teenagers. She was sitting in front of the car and she said, I'm gonna get married first and my wedding's gonna be like this. Jaislyn said, I'm gonna get married second and this is how my life is gonna go. And it wasn't until Jaislyn's wedding shower that I looked up and I said, oh my God, we manifested all this. Tiffany got married first. Jaislyn got married second. And on the back of that car, I was looking at a car magazine while they were looking at wedding dresses, right? Just to tell you about the little differences in our attitudes. And I said, I'm gonna be somebody's baby mama. And I was joking, but I got what I asked for.
Yeah. Listen, that wisdom shines through in this moment. And I hope everybody heard exactly what you just gave us. But here's what I know as well. I know that you started dating during the pandemic, though, right? Did I get it right?
No, I ain't started dating yet. I'm calling you first for some help, Dr. Sean.
Oh, okay. I got it.
I am contemplating dating. Now, I did put out this boyfriend tryouts, and there was this really handsome fella that I was thinking about dating. But our first phone call, homeboy said, so what was it like working with Urkel? And I was just like, dang, that's all you could have thought about saying to me?
Yeah. So in order to, I'm clear now. So in order to help you, let me ask you this. What are you looking for? What kind of person, what kind of man are you looking for? Tell me that.
I'm looking for somebody who's gentle and kind, who's empathetic, who believes in his own power, someone who's God-fearing. I don't necessarily care about a religion, but I want him to believe that there's some kind of higher power and believe in his energy. Somebody who's complete and whole and not looking for somebody to complete him. I'm looking for my equal for the first time ever.
Now, here's my last question. What do you fear? What are you afraid of in this process?
Wasting my time.
Which looks like what?
Which looks like turning around in 5 years and being in the same place I am now with some dude who I don't want to be with, who's trying to sue me for palimony.
Okay. First of all, that's funny.
Second, it's real.
Look, I know it is. So listen, let's do some work. All right. I asked you about your fears last of all, because that's the thing I want you to let go of first. I want you to let go of the fear of ending up in the back in the same position again, because you've proven that you have the power to manifest. You've proven that you walk in manifestation. So you've got to, Job said in the Bible, that I feared the most has come upon me. I'm a firm believer that whatever you fear the most is what's going to show up in your life. So you can no longer be afraid to end up back in this situation. If that's where you end up, then that's where you end up. And you can handle it again the way you handled it the first time. The moment you put that fear down is the moment you never have to deal with it again. You follow what I'm saying?
Okay.
Your list of what you want, I think, is a good list. Except this. All right, here's where I'm going to push you. He won't be complete. He won't, because you're not complete. He won't be complete because you're not complete. What he will be, what we're hoping he will be, is someone who is not insecure and needs you to make him happy. You follow what I'm saying? A part of the logic of any relationship is that you're going to be sent into his life to help him work on parts of himself that you reflect back to him, right? So there's work that has to be done, and part of the logic of love is the work that you're going to inspire him to do, and he for you. You follow what I'm saying? I think you have a great list. Your list is really good. I just don't want you to have expectations that nobody can live up to. I want you to understand that even if he's not complete, it doesn't mean that he's insecure, right? He can be confident and still be working on something. He can have broken pieces and still be a master builder. And so as long as you jettison those two things and understand that the good is not the enemy of the great, I think you're going to be fine. Get rid of the fear. Don't be afraid to start over. Don't be afraid of anything. You can handle anything anybody brings to you. You hear me? There's nothing you can't handle. If you got to go back, you'll go back and win again. How about that?
Oh, I forgot to mention something though.
Real quick.
We gotta have a job, like a career. I'm 45.
Yeah, no, so I'm with it. I
have a career. I forgot to say that.
No. I think having standards, having a list of things that you want is wonderful, but make sure that you allow love to surprise you. I'm actually out of time. Cherie, you got to come back and talk to me sometime.
Anytime you'll have me, I'm here.
You got to come back. Thank you for being on tonight. Listen, isn't she amazing? She's going to find exactly what she's looking for because she has the power to manifest, and so do you. My last word to you before I take this break is be careful what you ask for because it just might show up. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Listen, so, we've done our headlines. Cherie Johnson was absolutely great, but I think it's about time we do some Ask Dr. Sean. So here we go. Let's take a look at a video sent in by Melissa.
Hi, Dr. Sean. My name is Melissa, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Since the pandemic, I've been feeling overwhelmed and having a lot of anxiety dealing with home life and work. But I don't feel like I can express that to my family. So my question is, how do I express what I'm going through to my family so that it can help me deal with my anxiety better?
Great question, Melissa. Thank you for that. I'm going to say something that might surprise you. I'm going to suggest that you're putting a little too much stock in your family's capacity to help you. I'm going to suggest that if you're dealing with genuine anxiety and stress, that it's not your family you should first and foremost seek to talk to, but rather you should talk to a mental health professional, a life coach, a counselor, a therapist, psychologist, someone along those lines, maybe even a pastor, somebody along those lines who can help you process and empower you with tools to deal with what you're going through. Understand that dealing with your family may be adding to the anxiety, and if that's the case, then you can't run to the cause and ask the cause for a cure. Not the least of which, let me also add, that your family is not duly empowered, professionally ingrained with the capacity to handle this problem. So they may be able to have conversation with you, but other than that, other than just talking about it, they can't help you process it. Come up with tools and ways to empower yourself to live with it, live beyond it, and to take your life to the kind of level that I think you deserve. So I would say your goal should not be to talk to your family first and foremost. It should be to talk to a mental health professional. And they are the ones who will help you find the language and the time and the temerity and the courage to address your family as you need to. It might sound strange because we're often taught that, you should be able to talk to your family about anything that's your family. Blood is thicker than water. But let's just all be honest right now. There's some things you can't talk to your family about, and you know it's true. There's some things you can't bring to your aunt. There's some things you cannot bring to your grandmother. There's some things you can't tell your dad. We all know it's true. Doesn't make it bad, it just makes it true. Well, here, I got some good news for you. The good news is you can have the kind of conversations you need to have with people other than your family. Again, in part because they may not be qualified to handle the level of conversation you need to have, and two, they may be the cause of the problem. If you're trying to figure out how to mitigate that problem, you need strategies that don't come from them. So I would say to you, get the help you need, but get the help you need from people who can actually give it to you because you deserve it. And I want you to smile. I want you to win. I want you to have all the joy that you deserve. And I can't stand anxiety and stress. It's awful when people are dealing with that. But I know that there's a way out. If you seek the help and do the work, you will find it. So, next question. Somebody DM me this question. I'm a black woman who's married to a white man. I went to Howard University and I pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. My 10-year reunion is coming up and my husband wants to go with me. But I don't think he will understand the significance and the history behind the events. I think the experience will be awkward for him. How do I tell him that I think he should sit this one out? Now, this is an interesting question, Bruno. Let me tell you why it's an interesting question, Bruno. Because you knew you were marrying a white guy when you married a white guy, right? Like, you did know that this was a white guy when you married him. I'm not so sure he's the one that actually is awkward. I think you're the one that's awkward. I think you're feeling some type of way about going back to Howard University with a white guy, which you did know he was a white guy when you married him, right? And you can't possibly think that you're going to be the only black person at Howard University that ever married a white guy, or the only person coming back to your reunion. That you got to be proud of the decisions that you make, especially when you have someone who loves you. You follow what I'm saying? If Howard University endeavors to teach its students anything, and I didn't go to Howard, but if Howard University endeavors to teach its students any world, they get to make their own choices and live with those choices and be proud of those choices, and whatever consequences come along, a Howard alum. And I would say to you, my dear sister, I don't think listen, if you marry somebody outside of your race and you deny them a cultural experience to help understand your race better, then that's not on them, that's on you. And if you're just ashamed of the fact you married a white guy, then you should just be honest and just say that. Maybe not to him, but to somebody. Be honest about it, because the more you try to bury it, the more it's going to come out. I can't tell you if he should go or if he shouldn't go. I don't know him and I don't know you. But I do believe, just my spidey senses, my intuition tells me that you're not completely being honest about why you don't want him to go. He may not understand historically. He may not understand culturally because he's a white guy and doesn't understand the traditions of Howard University and AKA traditions. How could he? He didn't come from that. But here again, he's your husband. He's the man you chose, the one you decided that you wanted to spend the rest of your life with. And shouldn't that count for something? That he was worthy of that kind of decision? And of all the men in the world, black, white, or whatever, you chose him? That's a decision that you should be proud of. That's not a decision you should try to tuck away just because you think he might not understand. And let me just say this before I take this break. Maybe you should give him a chance to surprise you because he's been married to you this long and he's been connected to you and learning you. And if he was willing to invite you into a world where white men should never marry black women, then maybe you should have some courage to invite him into a world where black people often accept white people, no matter how they come. Welcome back, everybody. Let's do some more Ask Dr. Sean. Got a video sent in to me by Ty. Let's see what Ty wants to know.
Hey, Dr. Sean. My name is Ty, and I'm currently dating around trying to find that special one. Do you think it's possible I could fall in love with two people at the same time? I think I'm currently in that situation.
Every guy in the world wants me to say yes right now. Like every guy in the world is like, yes, say yes, Dr. Sean. Say yes, Dr. Sean. Well, listen, it depends on you, right? If you are a polyamorous person and you're capable of having genuine commitment for more than one person, then, maybe. But most people aren't that way. Most people, that's not who they know themselves to be. Most people are trying to have their cake and eat it too. Or trying to eat their cake and have it too, which is the better way to say it, because you can actually have a cake and then eat it, but you can't eat the cake and then have it. It's a discussion for another day. The point I'm trying to make is, can you fall in love with more than one person? People fall in love with all kinds of stuff all the time. It's not uncommon for a man or a woman to fall in love with more than one thing. The question is, can you be committed to more than one person? Can you have fidelity with more than one person? Can you have an ongoing, serious relationship with more than one person? And again, I say it depends on who you are. It depends on who you are. And it also depends on how honest you're being with the people that you're trying to have this relationship with. So if they don't know that you're falling in love with more than one person, then what you're doing is immoral. even if you're capable of it, what you're doing is duplicitous. Because if you're going to fall in love with more than one person, have more than one relationship, that you calling in love and all this love, then the people you're doing it with should know the conditions by which they're entering into this scenario. So let's ask a better question, Dr. Sean. Should I let the people know who I'm falling in love with that I'm falling in love with more than one person? That's the question. And the answer to that is a historic affirmative yes. You absolutely should let the people know what you're feeling and what you're doing. Because to not do so is to lead people down a road that they didn't ask for. It's to hurt people in ways that they don't deserve. Now, let me just say how I'm built, Bruno. I can't be in love with more than one person. If you try to be in love with more than one person with me, I'm getting jealous. Somebody's getting pushed out. I need it all directed to me. I'm not sharing. I'm not built that way. That's not how I'm built. Now, you may be built that way. Now, notice it's not can you have lust for more than one person? Because we all can have lust for more than one person. Believe me. We all can be attracted to one. He said being in love. You know what I'm saying? Love, commitment, fidelity. I'm just not built that way. One person, that's it. Let's go forward, make it work. Because I believe there's some things you can only learn in the presence of a single soul. Man, that's what I think. May not be what you think. But whatever you do, sir, make sure you do it honestly and openly. And make sure you're being authentic to you and not just running behind some polyamorous fad that you saw on Red Table Talk. Make sure you're being real. Because if it's really you, then be proud of it and tell people it's really you. But if it ain't really you, stop lying to you and stop lying to them. So here's the last question. Someone emailed me this question. My wife has become lazy. She doesn't cook or clean or help me with the kids as much as she used to. It seems like she has checked out in every area of her life, and it's a turn off. How can I motivate her to get back to her old self before I check out and ask her for a divorce? Wow. Before I answer your question, let's go over the vows again. Ready? You remember the vows? You said wife, there was a wedding. There was a wedding, you said wife, right, Bruno? Here are the vows. For richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, for better, for worse, for as long as you both shall live. Those are the vows. The vows are not, as long as you're fully checked in, I'm fully checked in. That's not how it works. Why do people get married if they don't know what they're signing up for? You understand what I'm saying? You are there for moments like this. What makes a husband necessary is when a wife can no longer find her way. Now, see, you could be handsome and wonderful and great in the bedroom, but you're not necessary. She can find somebody else who can do that too. I know you think she can't, but she really can't. What she can't find is somebody who can motivate her the way that you can. And that's part of the job of a husband. Job of a husband or even a wife isn't just to pay the bills or to provide good sex, monkey sex. I don't know where I got that term monkey sex from, but it's in my lexicon. That's not the job. The real job is when you low, I know how to find you. When you're lost, I know how to retrieve you. When you're broken, I can help you find the pieces to put yourself back together again. When you've let yourself go, I can associate you back with the principles that inspire you to want to love yourself again. That's my job. That's what I'm here for. When I tell God that I was created to love you, it means I was created to love you in moments when you don't love yourself. That's the role of a husband. That's the role of a wife. So what you need to do is to empower your wife to be able to talk about what it is that's really going on with her and not just be turned off. Because if you can only be turned on in order to stay married to somebody, this marriage is not going to last anyway. Because marriages and relationships go through seasons where everybody's not turned on. Everybody's not feeling sexy. Everybody's not looking good. Huh? Live a little while, son. You're going to figure this out real quick. That everybody's not going to look great every day or feel good every day. And I say it again, that's why you're there. You're not there for the high moments. You're not there for the moments when everybody feels wonderful. You're there for the moments when your wife, in this case, is broken and defeated and not feeling good about her, and she's manifesting how she's feeling in her body and how she dresses and how she's taking care of herself. You were sent to her for this moment. And if you get up and leave for the moment you were sent for, then you're going to have a lot of explaining to do to forces greater than you, because God trusted you with his child for moments like this. How can I make sure that I don't leave her? Well, how about this? By not leaving her, by empowering her to be a better version of herself, by mirroring for her what it means to love yourself and to take care of yourself. I want to thank all of you for watching tonight. I want to thank Cherie for being on the show tonight and for sharing her great story. And it's been an absolute delight to listen to her journey from not wanting to be with anybody to coming out of the cage, out of the closet, so to speak, and to be willing to embrace love again. All right, everybody. I love it when we get together. Make sure you stick around for Chopping It Up with Oakley, which comes on next. We're premiering some new shows around here, people. You're going to love it, because that's what we do. We do big things, great things only. Thank you for watching, everybody. I love you. Stick around for Chopping It Up with Oakley. See if you can teach me how to cook.